Hey guys, welcome. This is kitten number 2. So welcome to my video where I'm going to tour the DMZ. If you don't know what the DMZ is, it stands for the Demilitarized Zone, and it's in a county called Paju in South Korea. So I was lucky to be invited on a tour to a place called Imjingak it's a part of the DMZ. It's northeast, western area of the DMZ, and it's the closest you can get without going on a guided tour. So if you want to go to the place that you've probably seen online, that's the blue buildings, that's called Panmunjom, and you have to join a guided tour to go there. Oh, you want to go down? So I went to a place called Imjingak and then to another place called Odusan, where you can actually see North Korea. So if you watch my video, I will tour you all around the places and show you North Korea from the observatory and try and explain some of the history to you. And I forgot to add, this is a part 1 of the tour. I will upload it probably in 2 or 3 parts. So this is just part 1. I'll add subtitles in English and try and explain any Korean words that I come across or any history that I come across that will be interesting. Okay, enjoy! We were also given a brief introduction to each of the things we would see today in Korean and English. And I used this time on the bus to Google each of these places and learn some more about them so I could talk more during the video. On our way out of Seoul, we passed by Gwanghamun in the center of Seoul. And we passed by these ladies that were going to some kind of festival where they were all wearing hanbok. I don't know what the festival or the event is, but didn't they all look so cute? So you might be wondering, how do you get to the DMZ? Or Imjingak, it is called. The easiest way to get there is from Seoul Station or one of the subway stops along the way. And here you can just see I use the app Kakao Maps. It's my map of choice in Korea. And at first the map showed me how to get there by bus. And I realized this was a little bit strange because there is actually a subway that goes, and I realized it's because I was looking at 12:30 at night. So I changed the time setting, and this is during the daytime. You can take 2 subways. There you go, all the way up to Imjingak. It does tell you that you should change onto a bus as well, but if you look here, you can see there is actually a train station there. This journey will take about 1 hour and 30 minutes, or if you can get there by car, it will take about 1 hour. Okay, so we're at Imjingak now, and first we're going to, but I know that we're going to number 2 next. So where is number 2? Ah, up there. Oh, hang on, I gotta find everyone. Before visiting this memorial, I knew that some people had been abducted, but not how many. When you first enter the hall, this monument is in the entranceway. It is a spiral filled with digital portraits of all the people abducted. And all of these portraits are their very last photo that they took with their family or alone before their abduction. You can also see on the screen a recording I made from the website for the memorial that tells you the numbers and some basic information about the abductees. Now these are one of the most interesting things in the museum for me. These are propaganda leaflets dropped by the North over the South. They are in 3 different languages: Japanese, Korean, and English. And if I zoom in on this, you can have a read. It's really interesting. They actually still do similar things to this, I believe, and there are still the audio broadcasts as well. There are a lot of documents from the time, and this diorama that shows how people were taken literally from their homes. I transferred this, and it says that the military mobilization plan has been taken from the North. Now, I can't read Japanese, but the Korean underneath this pass told me that it has this man's name, age, and residence on it, and he was actually abducted from Central Seoul, Junggu, which is the district right in the middle of Seoul. The map shows the main route that abductees were taken on. I've added a translation of the writing for you. The majority were taken from detention centres and taken along 2 routes, the red route and the blue route. Their wives, mothers, sisters were left without men in their family, and here is a photo of some of them protesting for the return of their beloved. This wall is filled with the names of those abducted. Whilst this is a very sad story for the families that lost members, just remember that they did go on to live lives in the North. If they were young, they will have remarried and grown new families in the North. That is another reason that they cannot just come back down to the South. A lot of them have now got new families in the North.
Okay, so these are 납북자 명부. That means there are the kidnapped family. So they made a list of kidnapped family from the government of Republic Korea, and then they just mentioned that now it's 2000. It's all the people. Yeah, it's all the kidnapped family. We have the day of memory. Yeah, she
looks like maybe she's a wife.
Maybe, or she has a daughter, she has her son there. You never know, because she mentioned that most of kidnapped family, they are all male, and then most of them, they're male, right? They're the men, and they're in their 20s to 40s. So they made a just Memorial Day to memorize their names and pictures. This time they made the reunion. So not every year, but regularly they made the reunion session for the people who separated. So that was the time. 2000 November. President Kim Dae-jung, he tried a lot to help all the kidnapped family and then who are separated. The information about kidnapped family and people from South Korea, we are trying to get the information or trying to return back them to South Korea because they're originally from South Korea. But because of all the politic things and all the political problem, it's really hard to return back, and also North Korean people still not admitting.
And I think after 70 years, they probably have families there now.
Yeah, of course.
Very
or
complicated.
they passed away, or they've been there having their own life there.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for them to come back to Korea. And even we have a name of North Korea and South Korea, but still we've been separating for 70 years. That's quite a long time, right? So
It's a shame they can't reopen the meeting point where they used to go meet at the hotel. You can also search a register of the names of abductees. You just need to know a surname or a full name
you can
to search.
With sorry, I don't know this word, but let's look at the searching screen. Comsec. So if you knew somebody's name, you could type their name here. I don't know any names, so I'll just put.
So I actually typed my husband's
surname
name here.
I know. Comsec. Maybe I need to know a whole name. Oh, here we go. So these are people's names and their ages, the abduction date, I think Napji must mean abduction, where they were stolen from. So this person is from Seoul, Gyeonggi-do, so around Seoul. Yongsan, Seoul. Wow. And the list goes down. So people were taken from really far south of the border. This is, oh, you can press on it. So this man, 직업, 농업. So he was a farmer. He was from Gyeonggi-do. He was abducted on the 25th of June. Today is the 16th of June. He was 37.
I translated this, and it is actually who he was abducted by and the region.
Let's look at this 17-year-old. Oh, so he was a farmer too. Were they all farmers?
So, something I learned after the trip, when I searched my husband's family name, is that one of his family from the dad's side was actually taken. So one of those names will have been his great-grandfather. Sorry. I thought that was really interesting, and I've been trying to find out his name, but I didn't find it out yet.
So let's try another surname. Let's try a very common one. Kim. And I want to find somebody young. Okay, let's see. This 19-year-old. Again, he was a farmer. 20-year-old. What was he? A farmer. So it seems like people that are living in the countryside. Well, nowadays these areas are not countryside, are they? So. Oh, what's that? Kim Wei-han. He was 51. Let's search what his job was. Sorry, there is my gimbal. What is this? Leaflet distributed by the abductee family in Paju. That's where we are now, in Paju, in the 2000s. 2000s. What else do we have? Open the drawer. What's this? Meaning. From the families again. Do we have more? All made by the families. How's that? I've got to include this. That's the meeting of the South Korean and North Korean president in 2018. I was in Korea when that happened, and I remember the day exactly. I was in a doctor's office getting a medical check with my Hagwon owner, and everybody was watching the news, but not talking about it, just kind of side watching. So even though it seemed like a really massive deal, I think that Korean citizens just took it in their stride. So just come down to the exit and found that there are English leaflets, which is very helpful since most of the information was in Korean.
Oh yeah, perfect. It explains everything in English for you. So I can use this when I edit.